Hey all, Heretic here, and there's a patch coming. Now, I don't know the number at this time. I don't have art for most of it, and I'm hoping that I'm going to re-record this part and give you it with all the art. But if you don't get it, that's because it was either given me too late or it never showed up, and I just have the information in its raw form, and I'm going to give you it like that. Either way, it works, so it's not a problem. It would be nice to have fancy notes to give you, but I can cobble together something pretty good that I think we'll have fun with anyways. So with that being said, let's jump into the changes that I know are coming, theoretically, unless they change, and then I'll edit this and hopefully you won't see too much of that. Now this is the first balance patch of the season, and it is more of a we need to fix things that are really bad really fast than the actual patch. I expect there will be more patches coming in the days to come, but we've got some quick hits here. First, we have a returning minion. Tad is back. Murloc players rejoice. You can have your Tad to cycle. Basically, everyone should feel pretty good because on turn 3, Tad's a nice minion. If you need economy and you want to have that third minion, a Tad's a great way to get it. So happy to see Tad back. Parched Wanderer is gone. And hey, does anyone care about Parched Wanderer ever? Really? I mean, for the most part, this has been a complete trash minion the entire time. Perfectly happy with this minion being gone no matter what. Now let's talk about some minions and spells that are going to be changing how they currently operate. Some of these are buffs, some of these are nerfs. Let's take a look. We're going to start with tier 3 2/6 Improviser. Was Avenge 3 minions in the tavern have +1/+1 next turn. Now is going to be Avenge 2. Same buff, a lot more buffs going out though with Avenge 2 versus Avenge 3. I don't typically love this minion no matter what, but going from Avenge 3 to Avenge 2 is a lot easier to just cheese and get a lot more value out of, so theoretically this will see more play. We'll find out. This is still going to be a card you want early and not later at all. The spell Haunted Carapace getting a small change, tier 3, 2 gold. Your minions have +2/+1 until next turn was its previous form. It is now going to be +3/+1. One more attack, but not bad. And really the value on this is when it's generated out of minions and not so much buying out of the shop, but still, extra attack never hurts. Vine Climber getting a little bit of a change. Tier 4 6/6, after you play an elemental, give it +2/+2, improved by each elemental you've played this turn, is going down to +2/+1. So the same amount of attack, little less survivability. I mean, it's half for the buff, but these are still incredibly good, I feel, and I don't think this will change their play too much. Will they be as overpowered? Of course not. They've reduced the buff it's giving by half. That being said, still going to be pretty damn good. Devout Hellcaller, formerly tier 4 2/2 demon. After a friendly minion deals damage, gain +1/+1 permanently. But now giving +1/+2 permanently means that your demons will have a little more sticking power in the form of this. Is this good? Once again, this is one of those cards where if you get it really early, that feels great. But the later in the game you see it, the less relevant the buff is. So it's just a question of timing. Get it early? I love it. Get it late? Move on, roll for something else. Bream Counter, going from tier 4 4/4 when this is in your hand after you play a Murloc, gain +3/+3 to now getting +4/+4. Does it matter? At least the way Murlocs are working right now, we're not cycling nearly as many. I feel like this isn't going to be enough to make Bream Counter relevant. This will certainly help it and not hurt it in any way, shape, or form. It's just a bigger buff. I'm just not sure if it's enough to matter. We'll play some games, we'll see, but I haven't seen anybody playing Bream Counter, let alone someone playing it, and it was decently sized, but not quite big enough, so I don't know if this is enough, but we'll find out. Stomping Stegodon. Yeah, you knew this was coming. Tier 4, 3/3, rally, give your other beasts +2/+2, and this rally. So my question is, what do you think the nerf is? Or do you think it was buffed? Does it come built in with Wind Fury, Divine Shield? Who knows? No, it doesn't have that. Is it a tier 6? Is it a tier 5? No, it stays exactly where it is, but now it gives up +1/+1. And I'm assuming, and this rally, which seems pretty safe to say, because if you took that away, who would care about this minion? So that being said, I don't know. I mean, obviously this is a nerf of 50%, which is significant. But these boards still get quite big when they high roll and decently big when they don't. So it's very possible that we'll see less of these winning as nearly as dramatically as they have been. But we're still going to keep seeing these for a while longer. The only question is, does this make Beast essentially dead at this point, or is it still going to work? We'll have to play games. I don't think it's going to work nearly as well. I just think it goes from being an A tier comp to like a C. But we'll play some games and find out. Sundered Matriarch gets hit with a nerf bat just a little bit. Goes from being tier 5, 6/3, whenever you cast a spell, give your minions +2 health, to now give +1 health. It's still fine, it still does the job, but it's half the buff removed. And I like Nagas as they currently were. Obviously they were overperforming, they feel, so this nerf is required. We'll play some games and see, but I still want to play with Sundered Matriarch. It's just like before. If I have a bunch of Spellcraft, I still want this card on my board. Yorick Smite used to be tier 5, 6/6. At the end of your turn, give your minions +1/+1. Golden ones gain +4/+4 to now being +2/+2, and golden minions +6/+6. Is this enough? I mean, I have already used Yorick. There's been plenty of times where it's later in the game where you don't want Yorick because that's too small a buff. But in the mid game, in the beginning of the end game, this still worked. Is this buff make a difference? I feel like not at all. For late game purposes, it's complete garbage, but in the mid game, it still has some value with this increase. I think it'll have a little more sticking power. You might see more of them, but to be honest with you, I feel like it's going to be just as effective. Now it's just a question of getting people to actually take this, as opposed to now where they're just skipping it, I feel, for the most part. Friendly Geist was tier 5, 7/3 Undead Death Rattle. Your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1 attack this game, to now being exactly the same, except your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +2 attack this game. Unfortunately, I feel Undead are kind of hot, wet garbage right now, and I'm not sure this is going to be what changes them. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think other changes need to happen across the board for Undead to be relevant, because Rally just seems to shut them down, and there's so much Wind Fury out there. It just really leaves Undead, I feel like, in an awkward position and just not as viable. But maybe the other changes will make the difference that's needed. Stepping up to tier 6, we have the Sanguine Refiner. This 3/10 Quillbore, rally your blood gems, give an extra +1/+2 this game, has now been changed where it just gives +1/+1 this game. Obviously, half the health buff has been reduced. That's pretty significant. Will it make a massive difference? Really, as always with this minion, it's just a question of timing. If you get it late, it's not going to be as nearly as impactful as if you hit it super early. So it depends. It's definitely going to be less effective than it was, so Quillbore will feel a bit of the nerf bat from this. Shipmaster Eudora got a change. Tier 6, 10/5 Death Rattle, give your minions +5/+5. Gold ones keep it permanently, to now giving a +8/+8. Once again, I feel like this could work, but I don't think it's gonna be insane. It's a temporary buff unless the minions are gold, which at this stage of the game, because this is a late game card, you're not gonna have that many gold cards that you're wanting to buff. And since only those get to keep it permanently, I feel like the condition might be too much to keep this one viable, but it's an 8/8 buff. You throw a Titus out there, you get a Macaw, maybe you're triggering those combats earlier more times. It definitely could be better. Play some games and see, but so far, there's been no scenario where I haven't found better options to play than Shipmaster Eudora, at least personally in my games. Primitive Painter, tier 6, 3/8. After you play a card from tier 3 or below, give your Murlocs +1/+1 has now been changed to +1/+2. The same qualifier, I'm sure, of the tier 3. I mean, it's a good card if you cycle a lot, and obviously if you buff it 100%, giving +1, you go to +2, that's going to be better. And Murlocs already have this weird board state where they're playing nothing but tier 3s and triggering battle cries forever, which means this will be giving a bigger buff when you do cycle those low tier cards. Could make this build disgusting and silly at the same time, because you're looking at a board full of tier 3s and lower with a tier 6 just chilling there, buffing as you cycle. Certainly has some fun APM potential. We'll play some games. It does win occasionally really big, but typically it feels like most of these builds don't work. This change could help though. Deathly Striker got a change, and I'm pretty sure this is just reverting it to its previous state, which made more sense. Tier 6, 8/8, Avenge 5, get a random Undead Death Rattle, summon it from your hand for this combat only, is now going to be Avenge 4. Which is what it was, if I remember previously, so this makes complete sense. I feel like Avenge 5 is a little too hard to pull off and not really worth it, and I don't know anything about what their expectations were with Undead were going to be this patch, but they are lackluster at best, and I'm still not sure this is anywhere near enough to make Undead viable, but we'll play games as always and hope. Next, we have some quest changes. Anima Bribe is now banned in elemental lobbies, so it can't be offered as a reward, which makes some sense because if you have, say, a Nomi and you're cycling giant elementals, and you can cycle those all into minions in the shop, obviously that can be too powerful, so no complaints about this change. Doubleheader banned in elemental lobbies, same exact reason. There's some elementals that if you can get multiple copies of, that is incredibly problematic. I mean, it's true of any build, really. When you can just buy one and get 2 copies of a high tier important minion, that's an issue. But with Elemental's ability to print extra copies of some minions when they're selling, if they have the right setup, this can be even more problematic, so nice change. Ganon's reward is banned from elemental lobbies, and considering some of the problematic interactions you can have with tier 7 elementals, that makes sense. But I would argue that all tier 7 things are a problem in basically all of these different setups. So I would just be happy to see that gone myself personally, but that's a me thing. Rallying Cry banned in beast lobbies, so you won't see the Stomping Stegodons getting those extra triggers, but I would argue that Rallying Cry really should just be banned from all lobbies, because if you are playing a rally build, you really can put together some disgusting things with double rallies. And since you really just need to swing once to start getting that value, it's not like when you have double death rattles, like sometimes there's plays you can make around it. If all the guy needs to do is get to swing, it is an issue. So I would be just fine if this one was just gone. Rushing Wind banned in beast lobbies for the same reason, has this Rallying Cry. You know, we don't need Wind Fury and Divine Shield, so you're guaranteed multiple triggers. Don't need to give your entire board Divine Shield, dumb things like that. I feel like this is just a problem in general, not just in beast lobbies. Quaint Boutique, Jumbo Warehouse, Rushing Winds, Double-Headed, Righteous Charge are all made harder to complete. I know, at least off the top of my head, I very much feel that Righteous Charge is a little easy to complete, so makes complete sense. Untold Riches, Anima Bribe, Snicker Snacks, Smelting Chamber, Grim Refresher, Cookbook, and Perpetual Incantation are all easier to complete. I think they should remove some of the quests we're dealing with now. I'm sorry, Cookbook right now is just painful. Obviously, if it's easier to complete, it could be better, but I just feel like it's from a bygone time and it just hasn't aged very well. As much as I love the idea behind it, it feels like unless it's incredibly easy to complete, you're just never getting value from that. Captain Sanders is removed from the secret culprit pool. Yeah, Sanders is a problem. It's nothing quite as fun when you're like, here's your option, you get a Sanders. It's like, well, unless I know I want to play pirates immediately, this is not a very good card. So I'm pretty happy that one's gone. It very much limited your play with that. A couple other things we're going to address quick. Combat speed up, max speed has been increased, so your combats will be moving a little faster. Thank you. Please just make them end instantly sometimes. Turn time on 2 and 3 has been decreased. I haven't really noticed that, but those are pretty quick turns, to be honest with you. I would like to see other turns increased. I don't feel the need to decrease most turns. 2 and 3 would be the turns I would advocate for, but if we could increase some of the turns, I feel like that would be better for the health of the game. I feel like right now, often they're too short. And we have various bug fixes, none of which they've provided me yet. I'm hoping that they get them to me before the patch goes live. If not, you will see a link in the description to these patch notes, and then hopefully we can put the bugs in there. I'm sorry, if they don't give me the information, I can't give it to you. And if they give it to me like last time, an hour before, that's too soon. I needed at least 2-3 hours so I can have time to record, edit, render some of that stuff in. And realistically, I needed a day before to get it done right to you. So hopefully this isn't a new trend we have. We're just gonna be getting this stuff vomited on us at the last second, and we can get it a little bit beforehand. But it seems like the last second thing is gonna be a thing for a little while at least. Thanks for watching all. I hope you learned a few things. I hope you had a good time. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you happy with some of these changes? From what I've been told to me, these are minor changes. They have more stuff coming. This is just an initial round of tweaking things to get them going in the right direction and before they bring out the big changes. Thanks for watching all. I'll catch you in the Battlegrounds. Until then, have a good one. Later.